For ACUSports.com, I'm Grant Boone with head football coach Ken Collums. After the first practice of summer/fall camp, we're less than a month from kickoff of the 2016 season. Coach, I see a little rain cloud in the background. I see also some cool stuff back here. That means a football season's coming up and a season's coming up. Give us a recap of day one.
Well, we're excited. The thing you see is just energy. You see a lot of energy. You see a lot of excitement. You see a lot of young guys, a lot of new guys out there, and a lot of young guys, they're full of energy. They don't always do the right thing when they get out here and when we start speeding things up. But nonetheless, we got them up this morning and they got a good lift in, had long meetings, came out here for a long practice, and we did some individual stuff, a lot of timing, basic type stuff, but before we put on the pads. But it was a good day. I mean, I like this group. It's hot, but guess what? It's hot across the country, all over the place. So we're embracing that, and nobody even really talks about it, I guess, unless I'm talking to you.
Well, let's talk a little bit about your personnel, because you introduced us to a lot of guys in the spring who were beginning to emerge, but you've brought in some guys since the spring, haven't you?
Sure. Troy Grant, a receiver, DJ Fuller, a receiver. Those are two transfer guys that are really going to help us. They give us some length and some speed, that we're going to need, because when people start, guess what? You got to slow down DeAndre Brown. That's our guy. If people commit to him a little bit too much, you have to win outside if you're going to win football games. And we got a guy in Dallas that can get the ball to him. And they aren't the only guys. Those are just the newer, older guys. Some of these young guys are going to help us, but I'm gonna wait for them to make some plays a little bit before we start talking about them. And but I feel very excited just about our receiving core. And Royce Moore is a safety we brought in from a junior college, and he looks really good. He's played a lot of football. Great guy. He's a wonderful guy to be around, and he can really make plays.
Real quickly, Dallas Seeley has emerged as the number one quarterback. It's one thing to be that on the depth chart. It's another thing to go through a fall camp as the number one quarterback. What is most important for Dallas in these next 3 weeks?
Just to put together one practice on top of the other, not to necessarily see or look further down the road. People talk about the process, and that's what it is. We practice with the end in mind. Whatever the goal is. All right, you don't look at the goal every single time. You break it down, and it's every day. I've got to
better today.
That's right. I've got to be consistent every day, because guess what? I'm going to feel tomorrow a little bit different than I do today. And after he gets hit a little bit, he's going to feel a little bit different than he did the day before. And how do you respond from all that? Because it's one thing to watch Parker McKenzie do it from the sideline, and it's another thing to step out there and do it and take those hits, and after a rough third down to go out, and how you going to answer to that. And he started doing some of that last year and then hurt his thumb. But I look forward to watching the guy. I mean, he's tough. He's mentally tough. He's growing. He's maturing, and he can make all the throws. He can throw on the run. He can throw in the pocket. And so we're tailoring things a little bit more toward him. And but fact is, he's got to have guys around him. We don't have a one-man show. We never have. But I like his progress and where he's going. There's just a whole lot to playing the position of quarterback. You can't. It's not just about throwing. You can be a great thrower and a below-average quarterback. And so when you put it all together, there's really an art to it. He's learning to play the position, and that's what you got to do in college football. You got to do that. Yep. And I'm proud of the guys so far.
Practice one is in the books. The 2016 season begins in 26 days with that game against the Air Force Academy on September 3rd in Colorado Springs. For Coach Ken Collums, I'm Grant Boone for ACUSports.com.